Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and bishops who teach and rule well. Salutations to the beloved prophets, brothers, who continue to exhort the sheep in these last days. The title of this epistle is going to be entitled, Health is Wealth. Health is wealth. And without your health, if you're not taking care of your body, you cannot take care of your spirit. You cannot do anything. You cannot take care of anyone as well. So health is wealth. We're going to go over into some scriptures and highlight some of the benefits that the Most High Yahweh has given us in this earth while we may have breath in us, alongside having the scriptures to guide us into the ways of life and to separate ourselves from things that are harmful and can kill us. So the first verse we'll go into is found in Genesis chapter 1, verses 29 and 30 read, and Yahweh said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. So the Most High, from the very beginning, has created everything in the elements of life surrounding trees and plants, fruits, and such are for the well-being and the benefit of the man that he has made, and for the creatures on the earth. He has provided all these various plants, flowers, fruits, everything you can muster up in this earth for food. There is quite a bit of plants on the earth that are edible, and it would behoove you to do a little research into what plants may be applicable for consumption and those that you may want to stay away from. Because as we grow into the knowledge and have these things returned back unto us, we can start making our own medicines and to separate ourselves from the over-the-counter medicines that do not bring health and restoration, but only band-aid things up, which keeps us in a defiled state to the point where we cannot rehabilitate or cure ourselves, and we cannot house the Holy Spirit properly. Such things as parasite cleansers and removers, right? I myself take a parasite tincture. Every week or so, I'll cleanse myself as such, as to where this one here, it's made out of black walnut husks, wormwood, garlic, pumpkin seeds, cloves, alcohol, and distilled water. These parasite cleansers help remove the toxins and the unwanted things that are found in our foods that help cleanse our bodies. Side note to taking cleansers: a half an hour, 20 minutes, a half an hour after you take a cleanser or a tincture, you want to use activated charcoal to help remove the parasites. So you let the tincture, the parasite cleanser, do what it has to do to be ingested within the kidneys and the liver. And then 20 to 30 minutes after that has worked its way into your system, you take a tablespoon of activated charcoal, mix it in with some water, drink that, and that charcoal helps collect the parasites and remove them. We're going to touch a little more on that as we go through. So the Most High Yahweh has established every green tree and herb bearing fruit and seed for the consumption of our being, right? Does this say that we are just vegetarians and we abstain from some meats? No, we do eat meat as well, but the good proportionate part of our diet is legumes, grains, fruits and vegetables, and we eat an appropriate amount of clean meats. We do have a dietary law that we go into and we uphold, because there are some unclean things that he does not want in a holy and set apart people, right? And we'll go and touch on that things too. Are we finished here? Yep, we are finished here. And we're going to go and grab Ezekiel, mighty book of Ezekiel, chapter 47. So yeah, some good books to have in identifying plants. I myself don't know a lot about, the plants out there, but every now and then, I'll be curious enough to do my research, so I'm not trying to poison myself. Ezekiel chapter 47. Because knowledge is power, right? Ezekiel chapter 47 and verse 12. And it reads, and by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat, whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine. Now, this particular verse has a dual connotation and referring to the 12 tribes of Israel being those leaves that will heal the nations, right? That's found in Revelation 22, verse 2. But in this context here, as we look at it, shining light on how the Most High Yahweh has made all these elements and herb-bearing fruits and herbs for the healing, we are to consider these things as a practice to put within our dietary regimen, so that way we are separating ourselves from anything that can be toxic and poisonous, as to where the food that is in this land here that we are captive in, also add other foreign elements to food here and put it on shelves. Sirach, the mighty book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, your Apocrypha, chapter 30 and verse, we'll start at verse 14, right? Hold on, let me set up. Just give me one moment, por favor. Psalms 37. Boom. Okay. So Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 14, it says, better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in the body. So although you may not have all the money in the world to buy you all these quintessential medicinal products for you to concoct at home to be supplemental in your diet, you don't always have to restrict yourself on not having a finite amount of money, as to where a rich person has unlimited resource, but yet finds themselves underneath a knife and in all these institutions for rehabilitation, to which there is no cure for those ailments, right? Over-the-counter medicines and pharmaceutical products out there, they don't heal you. They pretty much just band-aid the issue up and never really come to a full cure for you. So as we have this understanding, fasting and the Hebraic culture, our heritage is also very much promoted, so that way we can limit the amount of toxins and poisons from these foods that we end up putting on our body, right? This is why we use cleansers and we fast and we do all these things, so that way we can have a healthy diet. And it's not always about the buck, right? It's about wisdom. In fasting, and in addition to fasting, whatever, you can use the charcoal cleansers, add a little lemon that boosts your alkalinity level, which most parasites cannot live and sustain within the body if your alkalinity level is higher than 6.5, around 7, ranging in that area. Also, some cleansers you can make at home that are pretty, some parasite cleansers you can make at home. Also, you can use cayenne powder here. Cayenne powder increases your metabolism level. It burns your body with inside nice and hot. It keeps your metabolism hot, which also promotes fasting, and ultimately has a health benefit to your body as well, just like cinnamon, turmeric. You know, you can buy some turmeric, also some pure local honey. Local honey is 100% a health benefit, as opposed to store-bought honey, which has a lot of sugar. You can tell the difference in honey, because the artificial honeys, they when they get cold, they turn into a block of crystal, a block of sugar, as to where raw honey doesn't have that effect. It doesn't have that effect at all. So better is the poor being sound and strong in constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in the body. A nice verse that I would like to pair with this particular one here. I think I forgot to write it down. Nonetheless. Oh yeah, I have it right here. Psalms 37 and verse 16, it says, "A little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many." Again, because you have because some out there may have an abundant supply of resources of money, they don't always do this due diligence of going into this, the understanding of building up their understanding of what true medicines are, right? True medicines. To boost up your immune system. I'm not promoting this thing by any chance. If you are on prescription medications, do your due diligence and ask your doctor and provider if some of these elements that are presented here are useful for you. Nonetheless, colloidal silver is a good additive to have in your regimen as well, to boost your immune system. I highly promote oregano oil for consumption. To showcase that not every medicine that's available on the market does promote health, but we want a cleaner, healthier lifestyle, so that way we can boost and housing our holy temple, clean, set apart temple. He says, do not touch the unclean thing, right? Do not touch these unclean things. Toothpaste and those type of things, right? You can make yourself some tooth powder. Make yourself some tooth powder. Smells pretty good too. This particular tooth powder here is made with bentonite clay, baking soda, real salt, minerals for your teeth, cloves, cinnamon, and peppermint. These elements can be added in the form of oils, essential oils for fragrance and things like that. Rosemary, pine needle. You can add an array of different types of these oils, whatever, to your tooth powder for brushing your teeth and so on and so forth. I myself, whenever I do get a migraine or a headache here and there, I don't take any capsules or pills, but I lean towards an essential oil here called white flower, and rub it on your temples. You keep it out of your eyes and any other part there, so it doesn't burn, but has camphor oil, all these essential oils that help remove and ease some of the migraines and ailments that you might have. So we're touching on health is wealth, right? And what I'm showing and displaying here is that there's an alternative to using the system that's already in place, that has been used for centuries, that only keep people sick and do not offer health benefits. And everything is prescribed by our Father Yahweh, that he has made all these trees and plants and herbs for the benefit of our health, because no matter how much money and things you have, if you do not have your health, you do not have anything, right? You do not have anything. You can make your own herbal medicines, right? Make your own herbal medicines. These would include tinctures and teas. To making teas, whatever. You get loose leaf teas, calendula, chamomile, lavender. I know you can't smell it, but you can see the different leaves in there. This is what the Most High Yahweh has established on the earth. Beautiful, beautiful ingredients, right? And seeds are very beneficial for your body as well, right? This particular one here is flaxseed. You add that into your salads. You can add it into you can turn it into a powder and add that to water and drink that. You know, chia seeds are good for your body. They help remove toxins as well. And there's also special barks, tree barks, licorice, and all those type of things. You can, you know, turn these into teas and drink them, and they give you health benefits as well. So that way you can not have so many stimulants in your body. Special teas, you know, these ones here be rocking. I don't know how many out there like dandelion root, but dandelion root is pretty amazing. And soups, if you can afford it, you get yourself a little block of soap, whatever. This one here that's offered in this particular part of the country is a goat milk soap. Goat milk soap. It's made out of sheep's or goat milk. It smells so good. Tooth issues, if you have a toothache or something like that, you know, they usually have products that numb your gums until you can see the appropriate physician to take care of that. But a good additive to use in a pinch, it would be clove leaf oil. Clove leaf oil. This stuff is very strong. You know, you put it on a Q-tip and you dab it on your gums, just like you would Ambosol and stuff like that. But natural essential oils for your teeth. Why am I showing you this stuff? Because it's clean products. These are also medicinal things that you can apply into your dietary regimen if it is okay by your doctor. Another thing is for some women, mostly women, who suffer from hair loss and things like that. Not saying that I use this stuff for, you know, the lack of hair or whatnot, but castor oil, organic castor oil, things like that is good for hair growth and things like that. Let's jump back into the scripture so that we're not getting too far ahead. Oh, another tea that I like, that I think you should like, is the turmeric and ginger, right? This is also organic. You know, these are good products to use. I'm not just showcasing all the things I have, but this is to showcase that the scriptures, they do mean what they say when he says that he has provided all things for us for the purposes of healing us, right? As to where we no longer have to look at Egypt and, you know, run to them for whatever they have to offer. But, you know, we establish wisdom based on our scriptures in order to do our due diligence to build wisdom up, because there are those that may depend on the things that we know, right? Not just us. Jumping back into Ecclesiasticus in your Apocrypha, chapter 30, verse 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. So it doesn't matter how much money you got. If you got your health, you can house the Ruach HaKodesh. You can bring much more life into your well-being, into your overall well-being, provided that you are keeping a healthy diet as well. You know, some of us struggle with those things, and I pray that we do better. And that's all, that we do better. I'll read to 17. Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 16. There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Verse 17. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. Some of us have family members that are unfortunately on some medications and things like that because of the deterioration of their body, having poor diet, being mixed up, whatever they're being mixed up in their youth, and has come to a point in their life where they have to be put on certain medications. But if we get ahead of the game and start building up a clean lifestyle for ourselves, as according to the Hebraic way, living a holy and set apart life, we don't have to suffer the consequences of being hospitalized and so on and so forth. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and 15. Ooh. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and 15. Oh, yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 7:15, it says, and Yahweh will take away from thee all sickness, and put none of these evil diseases of Egypt, which thou hast known, upon thee, which will lay which will lay upon them all them that hate thee. So the wisdom that the Most High is establishing with us is going to bring life everlasting, and this includes all things. He says we are a wise and understanding people, and because there are those out there that do not have a desire to learn his ways and keep his ways, and they are punished because they do not care for wisdom at all. They do not care for wisdom, and that will unfortunately, sickness will befall them as well. Sickness will fall them as well. But those that keep his ways and are investigating the scriptures correctly and putting on sound wisdom will not suffer all the sicknesses and diseases that Egypt has to offer, right? Because he says in the lands of our captivity, we will, be exposed to food defiled and such forth. And I'll grab that verse, Ezekiel chapter 4. Let me just put that down real quick. Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. Verse 13. And Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. So because we're still in the land of our captivity and dispersed throughout the four corners of the earth, we are subject to eating the foods in which Babylon has to offer. Fortunately enough for us, we know to steer away from unhealthy and diseased foods that will ultimately cause parasites and cancer and all these other things to grow within our bodies, because we're purging our systems. We're adding tinctures. We're putting parasite cleansers in our body. We're adding medicinal things like colloidal silver, oregano oil. We're having healthy options. Right? We're putting a lot more vegetables and fruits in our diets, and a proportionately a healthy amount of meats, and we'll go into that too, eating healthy meats, because we do have a dietary law that we must abide by. Jumping back into Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 38 and verse 4. Ecclesiasticus chapter 8 and verse 4, it says, and Yahweh hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Right? He that is wise will not abhor them. You will not neglect the wisdom that he is bestowing upon us. Right? Jumping back into Ecclesiastes chapter 30 and verse 25, it says, a cheerful and a good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. Right? Because if we care about the life that we live, and we do not want to suffer all the consequences of disobedience and having those diseases put on us, we are going to have a healthy way of living, and that includes our diet as well, which brings us to Deuteronomy chapter 14. And I won't read all of the dietary food laws, because you can do that. Deuteronomy chapter 14, I'll start at verse 2. He says, for thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy Elohim, and Yahweh have chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth. This is what he says. We're supposed to live a healthy, clean, spiritual lifestyle so we can continue to have life abundantly and have it much more abundantly and house the Ruach HaKodesh, because the Ruach HaKodesh will not abide within a dirty and unclean temple. Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 3 says, thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. I'll read that again. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing that has not perished, that has not passed away. You do not receive everything with thanksgiving and consume it, because we have a dietary law to abide by and keep and adhere and uphold, because all things are not for us to eat. We have a dietary regimen here, which we shall not eat. And particularly, let's touch on pork, since everybody likes to eat BLTs and bacon for breakfast. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 8. And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean for you. Now, at no point did it go from unclean to clean. The pig is the pig. It did not. Right? So, Deuteronomy 14, verse 8. And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, is unclean for you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcasses. Don't even touch the little piggy, let the piggy do what it's done. So if you look in within our dietary food guidelines here, it goes into animals that are walking upon the earth and those that are swimming within the ocean, right? Which you could touch on as well, and found in Leviticus chapter 11. Leviticus chapter 11. Maybe I might read a little bit of Leviticus chapter 11. But the pig is made to cleanse the earth and eat all the other things that it's supposed to eat. And when you eat the pig, you're also eating what that pig ate, and that's food scraps, feces, and everything under the sun, which also has parasites in it, which why we encourage to use parasite cleansers. And this is not because you don't eat pork and then go use a parasite cleanser. Eat pork and then eat a parasite, drink a parasite cleanser. Those parasites, they work their way and embed themselves into your intestines, and then ultimately they can creep up into your brain as well and stay nested in there. If you don't know that, do some research. Leviticus chapter 11. Leviticus chapter 11 and on through, it says, and the Most High Yahweh spake unto Moshe and Aaron, and saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among the beasts that are on the earth, whatsoever part of the hoof, and so on and so forth. Verse 7, and the swine, though he divideth the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Yes, the Most High says this thing is abominable unto you. He says, do not eat any abominable thing. And that verse also is substantiated in Isaiah chapter 66. We'll jump back to that real quick. But Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 17, it says, well, you can start at 15, but get to the point. Verse 17, he says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together with, saith Yahweh. He will utterly destroy you with fire if you are caught eating those things. So if you are receiving this understanding for the first time as to not eat those things and come out of the ways of the world, we do have a dietary law that we must uphold as an Israelite. So we are set apart from the nations, reserved and cleaned from touching any unclean thing. Leviticus chapter 11 verse 8, of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch, they are unclean for you. And he goes on within this chapter to talk about how the fish, what fish you can eat as well. You know, I don't know how many of you are fishermen out there and like to fish and understand the habitats of particular fish, but there's predominantly three sections of the ocean and or lake, if you will, predominantly the ocean, that fish like to swim. And there is fish that like to stay within the surface area of the ocean. And then there's some that like to navigate within the middle section and navigate within the center of the ocean. And then there's bottom feeding fish that like to stay on the bottom of the ocean. And we are encouraged to eat those fish that usually stay within the middle section right there, because the surface feeding fish, they eat like krill and shrimp and those type of things, which filter out the contaminants and things like that that come from the bottom of the ocean up, and they eat that stuff. And the stuff that sinks down to the bottom, that's not so good. Just like the pig eats the trash of the earth, the bottom feeding fish eat the stuff on the bottom, like catfish and stuff like that. And the middle feeding fish, that's where the clean grounds are, you know, so they'll eat all that stuff and we can eat from them, you know, salmon, tuna. You can, you know, do your research into those things there. But so yeah, definitely make haste to eat well and eat a healthy eat the healthy options that are found within the scriptures here, and do some investigation on what works for you. If you are a person that is really good in the kitchen and making concoctions and tinctures and stuff like that, you know, there's all kind of reading material out there that can help fortify those understanding and bring some enlightening into our community. Not all of us are capable of doing those things. You know, some have strengths different areas and stuff like that. So I pray that this was edifying and helpful, and until the next time, shalom.